Here's something nobody in a boardroom will say out loud, but the data makes unavoidable. The system being built right now isn't designed to employ you, it's designed to replace you. And the infrastructure to profit from that replacement is already operational. Let me be direct about what we're actually talking about. Every previous technological revolution displaced certain kinds of work and created new kinds. Farming automated, people moved to factories. Factories automated, people moved to services. The standard reassurance has always been, don't worry, new jobs will appear. And historically, that was true. But there's a fundamental difference this time. Previous automation replaced physical labor and left cognitive work to humans. AI replaces cognitive work. When machines can think, analyze, create, write, diagnose, manage, and decide, the question of where humans go next doesn't have an obvious answer. Because we've always moved up the skills ladder when lower rungs got automated, AI is attacking every rung simultaneously. Look at what's already happening, not in theory, but right now. Amazon Go stores operate without cashiers. You walk in, sensors track everything you take, you walk out and get charged automatically. Tesla is publicly pursuing lights-out manufacturing, factories that run entirely unmanned, no humans needed because the machines don't need light to see. AI chatbots handle most customer service interactions at major companies, and the people using them often can't tell the difference. AI is writing news articles, particularly routine reporting like earnings summaries and sports scores. Legal AI is doing the research, document review, and contract drafting that used to employ thousands of junior lawyers and paralegals. AI diagnostic tools are analyzing medical images more accurately than radiologists in controlled studies. AI is generating marketing copy, social media content, graphic design, music, and video at a scale no human creative team could match. And now the one that hits particularly close to home for people who felt safe. AI writes code. Programmers are still needed, but AI makes each one dramatically more productive, which means you need fewer of them. The new jobs being created by this technological wave employ far fewer people than the ones being eliminated. Instagram had 13 employees when Facebook bought it for $1 billion. WhatsApp had 55 employees when acquired for $19 billion. Compare that to General Motors at its peak. General Motors at its peak employed over 600,000 people. The ratio of economic value to human workers is going in one direction. And it's not the one that's good for workers. The transition is happening now. The math doesn't work out for the new jobs will appear argument this time. We're eliminating tens of millions of jobs. We're creating some new categories: AI trainers, prompt engineers, robot maintenance technicians, but nothing that employs anywhere near the same number of people. The gap between jobs destroyed and jobs created is widening. So what does the world look like when the majority of people have no economically productive role? Not the version in optimistic TED Talks, but the version that emerges when you look at who controls the wealth being generated and what their incentives actually are. There is a genuinely utopian version of this story. Automation frees humanity from drudgery. Machines do the difficult, dangerous work. Humans pursue creativity, relationships, meaning. Universal basic income ensures everyone shares in the abundance machines create. It's technically achievable. We have the resources, but it requires the people who own the machines to voluntarily distribute their gains. And there is essentially no historical precedent for that happening without significant political pressure or organized labor. Corporate profits have been at record highs for years, while real wages stagnate. Productivity goes up. Workers don't benefit. The idea that it reverses when automation is complete requires a level of elite generosity that history doesn't support. So let's look at what's actually being built. The first model is managed dependency. You give people just enough to survive, but not enough to build independence. A minimal UBI that covers basics: food, shelter, essential services. The payment comes with conditions attached. Behavior that challenges the system gets flagged. Access gets restricted. The technology to implement this already exists. China's social credit system is the most developed prototype. Comprehensive behavioral tracking. Scores affect what you can access, where you can travel. It functions as a mechanism for keeping a population predictable and controllable. Variations are being developed across multiple governments under different branding. This is the future currently under construction. The second model is managed distraction. Give people entertainment. Cheap, abundant, compelling entertainment. Video games that are designed to be more satisfying than real life. Social media optimized for compulsive engagement. Streaming content available infinitely. Substances that dull the awareness of purposelessness. If people are sufficiently entertained, they don't organize. They don't demand change. They just consume. Meta's billion-dollar bet on virtual reality is worth understanding in this context. An unemployed population spending significant portions of their day in immersive virtual environments is a population that costs very little to maintain and creates no political problems. Their attention becomes the product. Their data gets harvested. Their time gets sold to advertisers. They're not workers or consumers in any traditional sense. They're attention livestock. The third model is neo-feudal dependency. Without jobs, people need patrons. They attach themselves to wealthy individuals or corporations who provide for their needs in exchange for loyalty, services, and deference. It's not employment in the formal sense. It's closer to vassalage. You belong to someone's orbit. You serve their purposes. They ensure your survival. Tech billionaires already maintain large entourages of people economically dependent on their goodwill. Scale that pattern across a post-work society, and you get something that looks a great deal like feudalism with updated aesthetics. The fourth model, and the one that's already happening most visibly, is data extraction as compensation. Even people who don't work generate something valuable: behavioral data. Every digital interaction, every preference, every pattern of consumption, social connection, and movement produces information that AI systems use for training, that advertisers use for targeting, that governments use for monitoring. You're not an employee. You're a data source. The implicit transaction: we observe everything about your existence, and in exchange, we keep you alive. Some version of a UBI becomes payment for your data, compensation for the value you generate just by existing and interacting with systems. This is not some distant speculative scenario. The business model of free services in exchange for your behavioral data is the foundation of the current internet economy. The post-work version is just a more complete and explicit version of that exchange. The fifth model is geographic separation. The automated economy operates in certain spaces: high-tech urban centers, private compounds, innovation corridors, while the economically obsolete live elsewhere. Economic segregation becomes total and permanent. Gated communities already exist at scale. The full version is two civilizations, one with abundant technology and resources, one that's essentially managed like a containment zone. The businesses in the first zone have no interest in what happens in the second, except insofar as it generates problems that need managing. What makes all of these models more plausible than they should be is who's building the future and what their stated priorities actually are. A handful of tech companies and their executives are making decisions that will determine what billions of people's lives look like. They're not doing this through democratic process. They're not asking what kind of society people want to live in. They're building what's profitable and technically possible, and they're doing it fast enough that the governance infrastructure to regulate it doesn't exist yet. The same people building these systems are buying land in New Zealand, building self-sufficient compounds, investing in private security. The most charitable interpretation is that they're risk-averse people hedging against uncertainty. A less charitable interpretation is that they understand what they're building will generate social instability, and they're preparing to insulate themselves. Meanwhile, the political conversation about automation remains years behind the technical reality. Regulatory agencies don't have the expertise to oversee AI development. Legislators are still debating social media content moderation. The workforce retraining programs being proposed are built for a transition speed that is much slower than what's actually happening. The people pushing hardest for faster AI development have enormous financial incentives to minimize the social disruption narrative. The people most affected by automation are the least politically powerful. The gap between those two groups is growing. Here's the thing worth sitting with. None of the dark scenarios require anyone to be malicious. They don't require a conspiracy. They just require powerful people following normal incentives. Maximize returns, minimize costs, protect assets, compete for market position. They do this in a world where those incentives are no longer constrained by the need for a large human workforce. You don't need to be a villain to build a world that most people won't want to live in. You just need to be focused on your own interests in a system that no longer forces your interests to align with everyone else's. What can actually change the trajectory? The redistribution of automated wealth requires political power, which requires organized people with enough economic security to stay organized. It requires public ownership of at least some critical AI infrastructure, so the benefits don't all flow to whoever was first. It requires governments capable of moving at the speed technology moves, which means serious institutional reform. It requires an honest public conversation about what's happening, not the optimistic framing that tech companies prefer. None of that is guaranteed. All of it is possible. The post-work society is not a future scenario. It's a present trajectory. The question isn't whether automation is coming, it's here. The question is who it's being built for, and right now the honest answer is not you. That can change, but it won't change by itself.